If the ice age swallowed you tonight, the first thing to disappear might not be your body. It might be your rules. Within days, your fingers would stiffen. Your skin would split from the cold. Your lungs would burn every time you breathed. Your body would burn thousands of calories just trying to stay alive. And after enough hunger, enough darkness, and enough cold, your brain would begin asking questions modern people are terrified to answer. For ancient people, winter was not a season. Winter was a predator. It hunted slowly. It entered through your hands, your feet, your food supply, your sleep, and your mind. This is the brutal story of how ancient humans survived winter, and by the end you will understand why the cold did not just threaten humanity, it helped shape what humanity became. Around 20,000 years ago, the world did not look like our world. Huge glaciers covered entire regions. Rivers froze. Forests vanished. Open land became endless white emptiness. In some places, the cold was so extreme that exposed skin was a countdown. This was the Ice Age world. A world of snow, starvation, darkness, giant animals, and predators that were also hungry. And yet ancient humans survived there. Not because they were stronger than nature, because they learned to adapt faster than nature could break them. The first thing winter attacked was food. In Ice Age caves, archaeologists have found mountains of broken bones. At first, that sounds like normal hunting waste. But then researchers noticed the pattern. Many bones were not just eaten, they were smashed open. Ancient humans were not only after meat, they were after fat, bone marrow, grease. The hidden calories inside animals. In deep winter, meat alone was not enough. Protein could fill your stomach, but fat kept you alive. Your body needed dense energy to fight the cold. So ancient humans cracked bones like treasure chests. Mammoth bones, reindeer bones, horse bones, anything that still held fat. And then the evidence gets darker. At some Ice Age sites, some of the broken bones were human, cut marks, burning. Skulls opened in ways that looked disturbingly similar to animal processing. This does not mean every ancient group was violent or cruel, but it does mean that in extreme conditions, survival could cross lines we barely want to imagine. Sometimes the dead may have become food for the living. Not always murder, sometimes desperation. Imagine a winter that lasts for months. No animals nearby, no plants, no stored food, a child crying from hunger, a fire shrinking to embers. Then someone in the group dies. What does the group do next? That question is horrifying. But in the Ice Age, horror was sometimes part of survival, but food was only one battle. The cold also attacked the body directly. Some researchers believe Ice Age people may have used large animal carcasses as emergency warmth or shelter during storms. A fresh mammoth body could hold heat for a while. A huge hide could block wind. Bones could become structure. Fat could become fuel. It sounds shocking, but the Ice Age did not care about dignity. It only cared about who made it to morning. This is why ancient people became technology experts, not primitive, experts. They made bone needles, they stitched fur, they layered clothing. They made boots from hide, they used grease on skin. They built shelters from bone, hide, earth, snow, and fire. These were not random tricks. These were survival systems, and still winter was not the only enemy. The frozen world was full of predators, cave lions, cave hyenas, dire wolves, bears, animals that were starving too. In the Ice Age, ancient humans were not comfortably sitting at the top. They were still being watched. That is why fire became sacred in the most practical way possible. Fire was heat. Fire was light. Fire was protection. Some groups may have carried embers from place to place because making fire again was not guaranteed. If the fire died in winter, the group could die with it. One gust of wind could erase a family line. And when survival became scarce, danger did not always come from animals. Sometimes it came from other people. Archaeological evidence shows that prehistoric violence did exist. Broken skulls, spear injuries, groups killed in caves or settlements, not always because of hatred, sometimes because there was not enough food, not enough shelter, not enough fire, not enough space to survive. The Ice Age may have turned cooperation into a weapon, but it also turned competition into something deadly. This connects to one of the biggest mysteries in human history, the disappearance of the Neanderthals. For a long time, people imagined Neanderthals as weaker or less intelligent, but that picture is wrong. Neanderthals survived brutal cold for hundreds of thousands of years. They made tools. They hunted large animals. They cared for injured group members. Some survived broken bones, missing teeth, and disabilities because others helped them. That means compassion was not just a modern human trait. It existed deep in our ancient relatives too. But modern humans may have had one advantage that mattered more during crisis: larger networks, connection. Scientists have found evidence that early humans moved tools, materials, and ideas across long distances. That means groups were not always isolated. They shared. They traded. They copied techniques. They learned from people they may rarely meet. During a mild season, connection is useful. During an Ice Age winter, connection can be the difference between life and extinction. An isolated group could disappear quietly. A connected group could learn where animals migrated, where stone could be found, how to sew better clothing, how to store food, how to survive the next storm. But survival was not only physical, it was psychological. Imagine months of darkness, snow outside, predators beyond the firelight, food running low, children hungry, elders weakening. No certainty that spring would come before the group broke. Under that pressure, ancient humans needed more than tools. They needed meaning, so they told stories. Stories were not entertainment at first. Stories were memory. A story could warn a child not to cross thin ice. A story could explain where the herd returns. A story could preserve the mistake that killed someone last winter. A story could keep fear organized instead of letting it destroy the group. And maybe this is why your brain still reacts to winter things today. Darkness makes you alert. Firelight feels calming. Isolation feels dangerous. A warm room feels safe in a way that is older than language. Your body does not remember the Ice Age as a fact, but it may remember it as instinct. The cold shaped our cooperation, our fear, our planning, our violence, our clothing, our food, our stories, our need for fire. The real story of ancient history is not just kings and empires. It is a group of starving, stick-thin survivors staring into firelight while snow swallowed the world outside. And somehow, they lasted long enough for us to be here.